Sometimes all you want in the world is just to start playing in 3D game space and you don't have time to start building stuff. And you just want to get in there and play with that good physics. So I'm going to show you some resources where you can actually grab some free 3D models, and that is Google Poly. I'm going to open up my internet browser. There we go. And I'm just going to Google the words Google Poly. And whoops, hit return. And we can find Google Poly. Now, this is a site that Google's created where you can actually upload 3D models that you make and share them with the world. And you can also download 3D models and share them from the world. So I'm going to go ahead and look up for a 3D model to use, and I'm just going to type in Punk Duck. I've used this one before. There's my Punk Duck. Hey, Punk Duck, what's up? Just rock and roll and hip hop and bebopping? Yeah. So when you do this, you get this hand over here, and you can kind of grab and turn by clicking on your mouse and turning around. You can zoom in by pushing in on your scroll wheel. I always recommend getting a scroll wheel mouse. It really is helpful. If you right click and move, you can move it back and forth and up and down. But this is a good way to preview. Oh yeah, you look great, Punk Duck. You look so. Oh my gosh, you look so emo, Punk Duck. Maybe should be emo duck. So right here, you'll see that the license for it, remix this content. This content is published under a CC-BY license, so you're free to use it as long as you credit the author. Now, I would say, hey, Kevin Park, we're crediting you, but Punk Rock Duck, Rachel made it. So whoever this Rachel is, Rachel, you rock. All right, let's go ahead and go to the download. We can download the 3D file from here. And FBX file is really good for game engines. It's nice. It has everything kind of integrated into it, all the textures, all the colors. So we're just going to go ahead and download the original FBX. If FBX is an option, that's what you want to use. You get this license thing right here, another warning about that, and I'm going to hit download. Downloads to my downloads. I'm going to go ahead and go to my desktop space and right click and make a new folder. And I'm going to call it Punk Duck. And so this is just going to be where I keep my project assets. All right, open up that folder, and I'm going to go to this zip file and just, oh gosh, that's hard to do. Let's move this over a little bit. I want to just drag it in there. Boom. If I need to, I can just open up my downloads folder where that is originally located. Where's downloads? So it might have downloaded to your downloads folder and not be down there on whatever your browser is. There you go. That's where it's at. Cool. So in my Punk Duck, I need to go ahead and unextract this file, unzip it, because it's a zip file. I'm going to click extract all. I don't need to show extracted files. I'll just hit extract, and you'll see I get another version of that folder. And if I click in there, I got this model here. I'm going to hit the space bar so we can see that this is the model and this is when I downloaded it. I'm going to rename this model by clicking on it just once, or you could also right click, and I think there is a rename option under the right click, isn't there? Hold on, click, right click, boop, 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 rename, and I'm just going to call this Punk Duck Model, and I'm not putting any spaces just because some computers have issues with spaces. Let's go back to the Punk Duck thing, and I'm going to rename this weird folder to Punk Duck. Nice. Let's go ahead and open up Symmetry, and I'll actually just give another quick shout out to Rachel and Kevin Park and hit back and just say explore Google Poly. There's tons of stuff in here, tons of assets to get you started. All right, let's bust open Symmetry. Hi, Symmetry. Hi, Owen. That's what Symmetry sounds like. All right, I'm going to click back on that main space just to go to it. I'm going to go up to File. I'm going to hit New. And empty planet surface, just to be that blank space. I'm going to hit the plus or the play sign to go to this new terrain space. And here we have a new terrain space. And this is where we can model stuff and make things, and it'll be awesome and cool. And here is where we're going to import our awesome Punk Duck to. Now you can do file import and things like that. But what's nice is that if I just bring up my folder here and go to Punk Duck, there's a lot of drag and drop capabilities. So I'm just dropping in Punk Duck and it lays down Punk Duck, but we don't see it. We see this right here. So what is the deal with this? This is, I'm gonna hit Command Z a couple times. This is kind of where the center of the mass is. If you notice back here, there's a little bit of a shadow, and I'm just right clicking on my mouse and moving it around, and that shadow is, well, let's look up. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, where is it? Punk Duck is somewhere, and oh, there. Punk Duck is super high up there. So sometimes these files get kind of imported a little bit wonky, and Punk Duck is way up there. So I'm actually holding down the right click on my mouse, and I'm hitting the W key while looking at it. So you can look around by moving your mouse by hitting that W key. Oh, the sun is in my eyes. Let's go S back. I'm holding it down, hitting E to move up, hitting D to go right so I can look at it from an angle where the sun's not going to destroy my brain. I'm going to hit W to go closer. So Punk Duck comes up, but it's way up there. And if we want to see its properties, we can come over here to Hierarchy, and we can see that it actually brought in a bunch of different nodes. If we twirl these open, we'll see they have meshes. Like this mesh, this is its body. I'm going to hit Control Z to put it back. Let's twirl open this one. This one is its head part. So it imported it as all of these different pieces, but we want it as one entity. And so one cool thing that we could do to do that is we could put these all into a group. I'm going to hit, let's see if I can, there might be a way to do this where I can just select the top one, go to the bottom, hit Shift, and select the bottom one. Whoops. And then, I keep making things happen. Then I can, nope, don't drag these. Then I hit plus, and I'll hit New Group. And this gives me a new group. I'm going to double click on that word group, and I'm going to rename it under name to Punk Duck. I'm going to just go in like that to put that back up. And I'm going to this terrain space and clicking on it. So it gave us a new group, but that new group is mixed. It didn't move anything into it. So we have to move all these layers into the Punk Duck group. So I'm just going to click on that bottom unnamed node, which is one of these pieces. Whoops, go back over to open that. Scroll up, hold down Shift, select that top one. So now those are all selected. Go down, and I can just, boop, drop that into Punk Duck. So what does that mean for us now that we have that? Well, what it means is that Punk Duck is attached to this group. But I think I might have screwed up a little bit, because if I right click on this and hit fly to, oh, it's flying to Punk Duck. Okay. I'm trying to decide though, yeah, but you see down here is where the controls for that group is. So I'm going to hit Control Z a couple times to go back out so I don't see it. Now I'm going to right click on this and hit fly to, and this is flying me to that actual group spot where it is. I want this group spot to be, oh, I'm sorry, moving around so much, to be right by here, so when I put Punk Duck in there, I can actually have them in the same space. So I'm going to click on unnamed node 1, and if I remember, unnamed node 1, mesh 1, let's go, which mesh was the mesh that was the body? I think I'm too far down. Well, so this mesh will get us close to there, and we can actually look at the mesh, and we can twirl up and look at its transform. So this is all like this. We actually want to go to the unnamed node and look at its transform. Nope, that's all at zeros. Oops, Command Z. So it's just off a little bit, and I'm going to do this by hand. So I'm going to look down. Let's go to Punk Duck, right click, fly to, and let's see, the duck is up there. I'm just going to go ahead. Let's hit S to go backwards. I'm going to click and just move the Punk Duck thing all the way up here. So this model isn't zeroed out. So the center of Punk Duck, the center of it is all these little things down here, which isn't great. It's not the best formatted models, but we're going to go ahead and just sort of try to fix this in a hodgepodge way. You gotta hit W to move stuff like that. Let's go ahead, hold down the right click and zoom in. Whoops. Keep going. Let's move it back a little bit, over a little bit. See if we can get this. It's starting to get there. Sun is in my eyes. Not a big deal. Kind of having fun. It's a little bit weird. All right. And so what I'm trying to do is get this controller node really close to the actual Punk Duck in 3D space, so they're pretty much right on top of each other. And you can see now it's starting to kind of disappear behind it. Yeah, so it's kind of, right now it's inside of it, and that's perfect. It's inside of its belly and its gut. So now that that's right there, I'll go ahead and click unnamed node, the top one, hold down shift, get that bottom one, and now I'll just click and drag and drop those into Punk Duck. So now when I move this around, you'll see that I'm actually moving around the Punk Duck. Now I didn't have it as a perfectly inside of it, which isn't too big of a deal, but as you can see, I can actually take this down lower, and let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. So I can start to move around our Punk Duck. And I can even go as far as moving it away from the sun in its imperfect but okay-ish way. And I'm going to go ahead and scale it down. So right now I'm clicking on Punk Duck, going up to the properties window to click like that, going to scale, and I want to scale all three of these down. So let's make this about, instead of 1, let's make it 0.1. Whoops, 0.1 by 0.1 by 0.1. And it's super small. It might be too small. Let's bring that up to like 0.25 by 0.25 by 0.25. Now I'm feeling pretty okay about Punk Duck. So I can go ahead and grab Punk Duck, which is nice and small now, and move Punk Duck down to the ground. Let's go ahead and right click and fly to. So we can see that Punk Duck is there. I accidentally made the controls a little bit too far behind, but I can mess with that and fix that up a little bit later when I'm not trying to do a long tutorial. So I actually have a 3D character in my space now, and I can start to play with it in this space. So Google Poly mixed with things like Symmetry or Unity, you can start to really get some stuff going really fast. Alright, thanks y'all. Peace.